There was a lot of people in my previous video that were upset that I didn't show my kitties, and I clickbaited you. Sorry about that, so here's my kitties. Now on to the video.
Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you, and in this video, we're going to talk about how America is going to be more like Sweden over the next 4 years. Now, I know there's a lot of people really nervous that Biden is going to turn America into a socialistic hellhole. That's not what I think is going to happen. However, America is going to be totally different over the next 4 years due to the current events we're in. We are seeing the failures of our system. Now, first, let me say I'm a big fan of capitalism, but I also think capitalism has a lot of negatives to it as well. So I like Sweden's approach of capitalism with still somewhat of a social safety net. Now, capitalism, the main thing is sometimes you put profit over what's better for the people. Now, I know this isn't life or death, but look at Cyberpunk, for example. I know it's a Polish company, but they forced out a game early, misled the public in order to maximize profits, which was not great for the consumer. And now they're paying the price for it, but you'll see that little bit of greed that gets pushed in. They wanted to maximize it. Christmas is out. Let's make as much money as we can. Now, the first way America is going to change is our healthcare system is going to be completely different. I have no doubt about it. When COVID-19 was happening, I said to myself, wow, everything is going to have to change. And the main reason it's going to have to change has to do with this. When you look at how COVID-19 is now, if people don't have health insurance, can't afford it, and choose to not get treated, one, in the hospital, number two, they choose to not get tested because they can't afford a COVID test, that affects the whole population. So we finally have a system now in place where if the poor people don't get protected, it affects everyone. So I believe that there's still going to be privatized healthcare systems in the United States. You're still going to have emergency rooms. You're still going to have hospitals. And we'll have these places called like emergency centers. They're called like emergency care centers, where if you break an arm or a leg, you can go to this privatized business to get treated. And the wait times are typically less than what you would get in the hospital. You can get vaccinations there. I believe that you're also going to have a system in place for Americans that can't afford it, where it will be given the option to be it'll be a socially medical system where people will be offered free coverage as well. So I believe there'll be free coverage plus privatized coverage. And there will be some negatives with this, and we'll see some bumps in the road along the way. But we can see now what a vested interest the health and well-being of all Americans are. And just another example, so many attacks and things that happen in the United States. I don't want to get censored or anything like that. But let's say some of these mass attacks, if you will, in malls, supermarkets, we see mental health issues with this that are connected to this. So we can see in that situation as well, there are plenty of Americans that have mental health issues that need help. Fixing that issue will help solve the problem. Now, of course, there's a lot more we have to do in some things that we need to ban and put harder restrictions in place. Trying so hard not to get demonetized here. But that is the one way it's going to change. Number two, student loan forgiveness. The current system in place, and again, I said, holy crap, this is happening. If the government doesn't step in the United States and make these changes, I'm not sure America will ever recover. Now, how the system works in Sweden is you do have to pay back your student loans and stuff, but you do it over a lifetime. You don't have an insane high interest rate, and college is free, but you have to pay for like room and board, living expenses. The government gives you money for that to buy food and things like that, and you pay that part back. And it's way less than when you would have to pay in the United States. If you look at America, most kids that are finishing school and graduating are somewhere between $20,000 to like $100,000 in debt. They basically have like a house payment as soon as they finish school. And there's no way you can recover from having all this student loan debt and a poor person in America maybe that lost their job on top of that. And they lost their health care, for example, or they can't afford their student loans. They can't afford their rent. You'll never dig yourself out of that hole. And it's nice that the government's put some student loan forgiveness in, but it's my belief that there's going to be some kind of student loan forgiveness program, anywhere between $20,000 being forgiven to the full amount. And that is such a huge advantage. Like if you're Swede, even if you're like maybe not perfect with your finances and you're a little bit in debt and things like that, you are so lucky that you don't have to pay back your student loans in the same exact way, because that opens up the freedom for you to buy a house, to buy an apartment. You don't have thousands of crowns going to your student loans. For me, sometimes 6,000 crowns a month is going to pay off my student loan debt. It is such a big hole to pull yourself out of. And think about that. Think about where you would be if you were saving 5,000 crowns a month to put towards a home. If you could save that money, you would have a home. You'd have money to put down on a home just over a couple of years. This has to change. It will hurt the younger generation, and we will see ripple effects in the future. So it is my belief that Biden is probably going to look at the system that we have in place in Sweden and move towards that system. Now, there's a lot of Americans that are upset because they work really hard. They paid off their student loans and they feel like I could do it, so you should be able to do it. But I believe that shouldn't be the only reason why we don't protect all Americans from this situation. And finally, the way America is going to change is the overall social safety net with unemployment. Now, there's an issue in the United States right now where government has to pass laws in place because it's somewhere between 5, I think, and 8 million Americans that are at risk of going homeless. And they put protections in place where they can't get kicked out of their home. But the way this law worked, and with this video, they might change it relatively quickly and soon, is that people couldn't get kicked out of their apartments, but after a certain date, they had to pay all the money they owed for rent or mortgage or anything else. And if you lost your job and you're not getting enough money from the government to help protect you, how are you going to ever pay back that debt? So let's say you miss a whole year, you lost your job, your rent is $600. How are you going to come up with $6,000 to cover all the expenses that you lost? You're not going to be able to do it. We cannot let, 6, 8, whatever it is, 12 million Americans go homeless. We have a vested interest in protecting these people. You can't stop people from working and then say that they're responsible for it. This idea in America that, okay, everybody's responsible for themselves, you can make a lot of money, but yeah, there's going to be some poor people, but it has to do with hard work. It has nothing to do with hard work. There are so many Americans that are suffering right now, and if we do nothing, we will destroy our economy. I don't know if we'll ever recover. So I also believe that Biden's going to put in some places that's going to be a better social safety net. We need to be giving more money to these Americans that are out of work. We need to protect them from getting kicked out of their homes. And these is all new things that's happened out of nowhere, but the unemployment system in America is not perfect. And it hasn't been for a long time. And we're seeing that by not having enough social safety nets in place, America's in big trouble. So I believe that there will be some type of forgiveness put in place or some kind of plan so that either the government is going to pay these people over time the rent that they missed out on and let them start fresh, or they will pass laws in place to protect them. But we also have to protect the people that are supposed to get that rent. Because if you rely on your rent income, that's your main source of income, you're retired and people pay you rent and that's how you live your life and protect yourself, those people also need to be covered and protected. So I believe that Biden will put something in place that's going to protect these people. So America's in a difficult spot. And if it does nothing, all the people will suffer. I think as Americans, we have to agree on one thing. That is, America's a great country. And yes, it's amazing that there can be people that come from nothing that can make millions and millions of dollars. But we have to change this attitude of people that are poor or can't afford stuff aren't hardworking. We have to get rid of this notion that people are lazy and that's why. We've seen right here that's not the case. Plenty of hardworking Americans find themselves in such a difficult spot right now. And yes, the government's trying to pass a stimulus check. And again, this might change. I know Trump wants it to be $2,000 and currently it's going to be $600. Let's be honest. It's nice that the U.S. wants to give everybody money, but $600 if someone's been out of work since February is an effing joke. It is not going to do jack squat for anyone. So I also believe that once Biden takes office, maybe this is political or not, but I believe that once Biden takes office, you're going to see a bigger stimulus check. Listen up, Congress. You've been sitting around arguing with each other for years, not getting much done. America needs you. Republicans, Democrats have to work together here, or it will destroy. It really will. America will not be the same if we do nothing. And here's the good news, though, America. Everybody has a vested interest in this. Because if 8 to 12 million people, let's say, lose their homes, or 20 million Americans lose their job, everybody has a vested interest in this, or the health and the health and well-being of all Americans. If people are sick, they're not spending money, they're not shopping. If they don't own their own home, they're not spending money and shopping. The big rich elite, the 1%, if you will lose so much money if they don't protect Americans. So what's so amazing to see here, in my opinion, is that now we see America has to take care of its own. They have to do better, and they need to have a better safety system in place. And I believe that America is going to be a lot more like Sweden over the next 4 years. And Sweden's not perfect, and they have a lot of challenges. And because of the same situation happening here, there needs to be better things in place with their own social safety net because it's not perfect. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm right or wrong? Did you like this kind of video or content? Let me know. And as always, give me feedback. If you have questions, write it as well. See you guys in the next video. Hej då!